3, 2, 1. We are live. Hooray! Oh, I love going live. So today, welcome. If you're joining me, even if you're joining me on the replay, welcome. And I want to say that today, this video right here, we are going to focus on actually using live video and answering the question, how do you use live video to actually attract and close with clients? And this is sort of even a broader question of like, you know, a lot of people are doing a lot of attention on social media, and they're posting and they're showing up and they're going on multiple places. They go on to LinkedIn and they go on to Facebook and they go on to Instagram. And the brave ones are the ones who are making video. And if you're one of the brave ones, go ahead and say in the comments, I make video. Somebody's already, Elizabeth's here. All right, awesome. Great to see you. And so we post and we post and we post. And what I see in the way that people are presenting themselves, particularly when they do make a video, whether it's a pre-recorded video or a live video, is that usually we fall into teaching mode. And we think that the thing we need to do the most is to teach, is that I'm going to bring value to you guys and I'm going to teach you how to do something. I'm going to teach you how to get over this mountain of problem. Or I'm going to teach you how to get rid of the pain that you're in. Something like that. And, you know, it's completely normal that you would be thinking that this is the best thing to do, because this is what we are all being taught. This is what most of the people who talk about how to do digital marketing and how to do online presentation and how to do social media marketing, they're all saying the same thing. And they all say what you should do is bring value and you should teach. Like, you should help people get over the thing that they're thinking is their biggest problem by actually helping them. And I'm just here to say today that that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like, teaching people how to get out of the problem that they're in is definitely helpful, but it's only going to get you so far. And here's the problem with it. The problem is this. If I want to know the solution to a problem, if I want to know the answer to a question, if I want to know that information, if I want to go and learn something, I can go to Google and I can ask my question there and I will get thousands of answers. that information, the answer to my question, is already available to me. So if you want to stand out and communicate to your audience in a way that is in fact outstanding, like you want to show up in a way that they'll actually pay attention, that they'll stop and listen to what you're saying. If you just show up and you share the same information, the same answers to the question that everybody else is doing, or that basically is already available, then in fact, it's not going to stand out. It's not going to be outstanding, because in fact, there are many places where that same answer already exists. And it almost doesn't matter what you do. Like, you know, whatever field you're in, whatever problem you solve, whatever you say coach people on or help people with, whatever that is for you, there are, you know, tons and tons of people who are already doing something very similar to you. And the answers to the questions and the solutions to the problems that you solve, those solutions exist in multiple places online. So what needs to happen is we need to come forward with some way of being present that is in fact more outstanding than just simply showing up, and is more outstanding than just simply sharing information. You know, the information age has only brought us to a place where we're just overwhelmed with information. Like we're up to here. And I don't know about you, but every day my inbox, my email is filled, like every day it's filled with more information, like invitations to come to a free webinar, or invitations to join a masterclass, or here's somebody's latest blog post on how to answer this question or solve this problem. I mean, does that look like your inbox? Because that sure is mine. And oh, it's interesting. My stream isn't showing up on LinkedIn. Oh, well, too bad for LinkedIn. If you're on LinkedIn and you're seeing this, that's great. If somehow it didn't work, well, too bad. So where do we go with this? Like, if information isn't the thing to do, what would be better? What would be the better thing to do? And so this is what I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to talk that here's some ways for you to come forward and be present with your audience in a way that, first of all, is more striking and outstanding, but also is a way that people will start paying attention to what you have to say, and they'll start leaning in. And in fact, they'll be made ready to actually be open to learning the things that you have to teach them. This isn't, and I'm not to say you should never teach people things or that you should never be helpful in the way of giving people the information that you have to share. You definitely should do that, but it is not the way to get their attention. It is not the way to show up initially and have them say, oh, right, I'm going to listen to you because you're giving me information. That's just not the place you want to start from. So there are actually two different things that you want to be thinking about doing, and it all goes with this medium. First of all, going live is like super helpful. And the reason that it's super helpful is that a live video will have you show up in a much more personable and in the moment and realistic way. For one thing, it can be a conversation. Like I can ask you a question, have you ever gone live before? And just say yes if it's true, and say no, haven't done it yet if it's not true. And that way I get an idea of where you're at, and I can start speaking to whether you're someone who has done some live and you just need help adjusting your live streams, or you've never done it, and I can help you maybe get over the reasons why you haven't gone live yet. And ask you questions like, well, what's holding you back and what's keeping you from going live? So that's helpful feedback that, as an example, that I can get from you guys who are watching this video right now. And you can be doing the same kind of thing where you can ask questions, get feedback in real time in the moment. Also, people who are watching you, they can be asking you questions and they can be commenting, and you can literally see their comments and call them out in the moment and have this sort of call and response thing going back and forth. And this is great. It's like church on Sunday, I'll say, live video is awesome. And you call back, hallelujah. And on and on. And all of what this does is that it's creating much more of a connection, like a personal connection between you and the people who are watching your video. And the people who are in the moment and appreciating, like, I'm here now, and this person is actually seeing me. Like they're saying my name, and they just answered my question. And now I'm feeling like I'm part of the process, like I am part of this thing that's happening right now, which is so different than certainly reading a blog post and even watching a pre-recorded video. I mean, you can show yourself on a pre-recorded video, but you can't have the same level of spontaneity and in the moment exchange that a live video can do. So this is the thing to be thinking about. In the first instance, when you show up with people, or rather when you are showing up for your audience, one of the things that you can do that will really help you really jump ahead and stand out from all the other just simply information that's out there is to show up live and to be in the mode of having an exchange, like exchange with people, connect with people, do call and response with your audience, go back and forth so that the people who are there with you are feeling like they're there with you and they're connecting with you as a person. And this is one of the most outstanding things that you can do. And beyond that, like, so the next level is that you want to be really clear when you are showing up and when you are appearing in this way around what are the things that you stand for and what is the underlying reason, like what's the underlying motivation for you being there in the first place. Because if all you do is you show up and you say, you know, I'm going to show you 3 ways to solve this problem. You know, I could say, I'm going to show you 3 ways to adjust your focus when you're going live. And I could go through that demonstration. Now that might be helpful for some people who have trouble with their focus, but other than that, it's not particularly outstanding. And if I just teach that lesson, I'm not really necessarily making much of a connection with you, nor am I giving you a reason to believe in where I'm really going. Like, why am I here in the first place? Why do I care, and why should you care that you are doing a video and you're focused? Like, what does that even stand for? And so for me, like, one of the things that I am really behind in terms of the stuff that I do is that I believe that, first of all, a lot of us are holding back and we're not showing up for our audience in the way that we could, and that this is a big tragedy. And that one of the things that I'm here to do is I'm really here to empower people to stand up for what they believe in and to stand up for the people that they want to serve and to show up in this way. And I want to remove all the obstacles for you. I want to, like, whatever you're thinking is in your way of doing this, I want to help you get rid of all those obstacles. And this is a big part of my motivation and why I show up for my audience. And for example, I'm a big believer in doing video in the most minimalist way that you can do it. You do not need a fancy camera. You do not need like super high technology things to make this work particularly well. Those things can be helpful, but there are great, simple, easy steps that you can do to make your video look and sound really professional, that don't cost a lot of money, that don't take any big technical hurdle, that are really easy. You know, for example, right now, I am sitting in my bedroom office at home, and I'm sitting next to this really big window on a bright sunny day. And so I am well lit because I'm in front of a window and I have natural light coming in. And what it took for me to be able to do this was to sit down close to the window. I mean, literally the window is just a little bit more than an arm's length away from me. And it's a big window and it's a beautiful day. So I have this beautiful soft light coming onto me and I'm really well lit and it looks great. It doesn't cost me anything. I didn't need any fancy equipment. I didn't have to go out and buy a $500, you know, lighting setup and light stands and all that junk. Like, I didn't need any of that. I just had to find a place next to a window where I could sit and be bathed in natural light. So this is just one example of the kinds of things that you can be thinking about. Is like, okay, so what do I stand for? What am I really about? And how can I communicate that every single time that I show up on video? And I actually would love to hear you guys who are watching right now, what do you stand for? Go ahead, say so. Tell me what's your thing. Like, what's the big why behind what you're doing? And, you know, Simon Sinek wrote the book Start With Why. And that's a really good place to start when you are showing up for your audience, is that you are, you go live, you have an exchange so that you could connect with people, and you want to communicate why it's important. Because if you start sharing the things that you believe in, you're going to be attracting the audience who believes in the same things that you do. And this creates a stronger connection. And so you believe this, and people are going, I believe that too. Yeah, I'm with you. I get what you're doing. I'm with your movement, and I want to be with you. And so sign me up. And they'll start coming back for more. And this is how you really build connection around the work that you're wanting to do. Now, that's thing number one. I'm going to talk about one other thing. Thing number two. So this, again, is like, instead of showing up and immediately jumping into, let me teach you something, what you want to do is you want to challenge people's beliefs. And like we all know, like whatever thing that you do and whatever sort of space you're in and whatever problem that you solve, you know that out there right now, there is what we call conventional wisdom. There's the way things are done, or the way things have always been done. And also, like your business and your work, you have an insight into the way things have always been done that may not, that's not the best way, or that's not even a way that works very well anymore. And your insight has a new way of looking at things that will bring people to a new kind of solution that is your way. It's your way of thinking and your approach to doing the thing that you do. And this is what makes you special and what makes you unique. The thing is that you need to do the job of helping your audience shift their belief and shift their perspective. Now, I call this myth busting. And so we all have these things that we choose to believe, and they're not necessarily the truth, they're a myth. They're something that we've chosen to believe in because we feel like that belief is helpful to us. And if you can challenge that belief, and if you can bust that myth wide open, then people start going, oh, wow, I never thought about it that way. And they will start seeing this new, different perspective. So for example, the big belief that I'm challenging today in this video is the belief that when you show up on social media, that the best thing for you to do is to teach something and is to share information. And this has been the conventional wisdom. This is the thing that most people are doing. This is the thing that most people believe. And just think about that for a moment. Is this something that you believe? Is this what you've been doing? Is this something that you've seen other people do and you go, okay, well, if they're doing it, then maybe I should do it. Like, is that true for you? And so I've been challenging that and saying, well, that's not the best thing to do. And it's certainly not the first thing you should do if you want to stand out in the marketplace. If you want people to pay attention to you, the thing that you should do instead is come and bust their myth. Because if you do something that's challenging their belief, they're going, okay, so this person is saying something different. I'm going to lean in and pay attention. So that's the first thing, is you come in and say, look, here's the way that people think, and actually, I don't agree with that. I believe this other thing. And so now I'm challenging your thought. Second thing you need to do is you need to say, it's okay that you think that. Like, you don't want necessarily to polarize people and get them mad at you. So I'm going to say, it's okay that you think that giving information and teaching people stuff is the best thing to do, because that's what everybody does. That's what the conventional wisdom has been. It's what all of us are being taught. Every major guru online is probably telling you something similar, to show up and give value and teach something. That's basically the normal way of business in terms of digital marketing. So I honor you for thinking that. So that's the part two. Like, I'm going to say it's okay. Like, you're not being silly or goofy or not smart for thinking that, because that's what you've been told. Third part of this is that I'm going to say, okay, now I need to discredit the belief. I need to give you an example of somebody who's very successful, who doesn't do this, like is actually not teaching content. So for instance, one of the examples that I'll share is Gary Vaynerchuk. Gary Vaynerchuk, I've heard of him. He's probably one of the biggest, most well-known social media thought leaders. And one of the things that he has done, and one of the ways that he has become known, is that he has used video extremely well. He's built his whole influence status by making lots and lots of video and literally showing up all over the place. But if you take a look at Gary Vaynerchuk's content, he does not teach how-to content. He does not do a how-to video, like 3 ways to do something or 4 ways to solve this problem. This is not the way that Gary Vaynerchuk shows up. He shows up in these other ways, where he's basically reinforcing your identity as an entrepreneur. And he's giving you a lot of tough love on, you need to go out and hustle. And you know, these are things that you got to do in order to make this work for you. And he's one of the prime examples of somebody who has exploded and never done any how-to content. And he's probably one of the most outstanding people online, on video. So there you go. Like, there's my example. And I'm showing you, here's a guy who's really successful, and I'm discrediting the idea that you have to show up and start teaching as the only way to do this. So hopefully I'm giving you this idea like, oh, I'm changing my perspective. And this is the kind of thing that you want to do when you're getting on video and doing this. And the last part of this is that once you have people shifted into, okay, I see that there was the old conventional way of doing things, and now I see that there is a new way to do it, you want to marry the new way into your way. And now you can start teaching. But you want to teach in the context of the new way, which is your method. You know, so for example, this, what I'm talking about for what I do, this is all part of my big reach video methodology. This is the program that I run. And I help people reach a big audience. I help people use video in a way that they have, you know, they start playing big, they have the biggest reach imaginable, they start actually becoming an influencer in their space. And this is my method for how to do that in a way that's going to be far more outstanding than all the other people out there. And you know, the method has these various steps. And the most basic one is that you're going to be super efficient and super minimalist in your approach, and that you can go live, you can do your live video. You don't need fancy equipment. You could just take your phone out and use that, and that's all you would need. And then you want to do this engaging thing so that you connect with people and you engage. And then you want to challenge their beliefs so they start going, huh, this is something I haven't thought about. I need to pay attention to this. And then you want to shift them just one step further and say, well, here's the new way. Here's the new way of doing this. And the new way is this methodology that I've developed. And so now what's happened here is that they've been brought along this thought journey, and they're with you 100%. And now they see that this new way is something that would really help them, that they would see the benefit and the transformation that's possible for them because of this new way that they've described. And they're seeing that the way for them to get this new way is to work with you. And when you do this properly, when you come in and work with me and I show you how to do this and you practice, you actually practice doing this, and we work this over time so that when you go out, you're confident, you're doing it, you've got your whole thing down, people are being led along, and your video, your live stream, your in-the-moment engagement with your audience, when you are doing this live with them, and they feel like they are with you, what happens in that exchange is that they, this whole idea of selling, of you coming forward and saying, yeah, I want to sell you something, or pitching, I want you to come and hire me and come and do my program. Like, the video that you've made is doing like 90% or 95% of that selling for you, because they have been brought along on this very clear path of, oh, now I know what was wrong with my thinking or what was like flawed in the behavior that I was doing. And now I see this new path, and it's really clear to me that this new path is the one that will work for me. And if I want to get on this new path, there's only one place for me to do that, and it will be with you. So if you follow up on your live video by inviting people to have, say, a phone call with you, or whatever your call to action wants to be, or get on, get your free masterclass or something so they get on your email list, and then you're nurturing them that way, however you decide to start closing with prospective clients, when they finally get to that place of the closure, they're already saying yes. They're already coming to that meeting, that time, that place, and they're going, I want this. I know I want this. It's already done. And this is the thing. This is like why I feel so evangelical about this medium. Because at this moment in time, when we are all, like I am right now, when we're all at home, and we're working from our respective home office, bedroom, studio spaces, just like this one, and everybody's in the same boat. More people are on social media than ever before. More people are watching and paying attention to videos like this than ever before. You have an opportunity to be on video like this in a way that was never available before. And you have the tool, like either on your laptop or in your pocket to do this. You already have the technological tools. You have the distribution channel to do this. There's nothing standing in your way. And if you apply this methodology, this way, this big reach method of going out and engaging, challenging popular beliefs, engaging with people, showing them that there is a better way, a newer way than the old way. All of that, you bring them on that path, on that journey, on that experience. You give them that experience of being with you and seeing this. And then, of course, if you want to, you could start teaching pieces of your method. So once they're bought in and say, okay, now I see that this is the new way, now I want to start learning. Now they're really ready to learn from you. And now you can bring them to a masterclass, and actually then you can bring them value and you can teach them something. And they're going to be so like, okay, great, I've got step one. How do I get all the other steps? And if you give them that experience of getting like 1 or 2 steps closer to where they want to go, you win the game. Like this is how it's done. So this is what I wanted to share with you guys today. And I want to say that my call to action today is that I am going to go live on Thursday. That's 2 days from now, same time at noon. In fact, going on into the future, I'm going live every Tuesday and every Thursday at noon. And so if you want to start learning more of this way of working on live video with your potential clients, which will completely transform whatever business you have, whatever movement you want to create, whatever audience you want to connect with, then join me. And this Thursday, I'm going to talk about consistency and how can you take this method and then be consistent with it in a way that you will start showing up in a way that your audience can count on you, and showing up in a way that they will actually start to see you in multiple locations. So that's what's coming up. And Al says, you're an inspiration. That's pretty good. That's great, I'll take that, thank you. Well, I just want to turn that around and say, you can be an inspiration too. And this is the way to do it. So thanks for joining me today. And I'm going to try and keep this short. It's now just 1/2 the hour, so we've been on for half an hour, and I think that's plenty of time. Thank you for joining me. If you're watching in the replay, thank you for joining on the replay. If you think that this is inspirational and other people who you know would benefit from this, then go ahead and hit the share button and share it to your own page. And maybe tag one of your friends and say, you need to watch this. If you've got a friend who's been doing video and they haven't been doing very well with it, tag them, share it to them. That would be great. It just so many people could be benefiting by using this particular tool, and that's the mission that I'm on. So thanks again for joining. Look for me next Thursday, same time, same channel. And I'll see you then. So long.